Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the round table. My name is Ben Hedges and I'm in the studio with Holly Kellum. Welcome, Holly.
Good to be here, Ben.
And we got a lot to talk about because we had the first presidential debate last night.
Yep, that's right. Well, the first presidential for Harris
Kamala
and Trump.
Trump, right.
Yes.
And we've also got David Zhang from China Insider who's joining us on the line. How are you doing, David?
Hey, Ben. Hey, Holly. Thanks for having me again.
So we're going to be talking about who won the debate. And I'm going to put it out there, first of all, that I think there was really no clear winner. It was sort of pretty equal. What do you think?
I would agree. I think you thought whoever your candidate was did a pretty good job.
David, what do you think? Do you agree with us or have you got something different?
I disagree, actually. I think Kamala won, and I'll give you the reason. It's actually very simple because her job, her expectation in this debate, or others' expectation of her, is that she can show off, she can talk, she can not do her usual laugh, kind of avoiding questions type of vibe. But she overperformed, and she was very articulate, very eloquently expressing, her sort of attack points, defending points, and avoiding, even in sometimes when she was avoiding some of the questions, it didn't feel like it was a very deliberate attempt to avoid that question. And it felt like, in some instances, her reactions to some of the words that Trump did, because obviously we know that Trump is not somebody who goes by the script, kind of goes different directions. She was able to react to that. So I think her performance overall was much better than Trump's last night, in my opinion. Trump looked kind of shaky in some of the answers as well. And so, yeah, for me, I thought Kamala won that debate.
Yeah, I mean, she definitely had the specifics down. You could see that she was quoting a lot more, hard statistics than Trump was. He was talking more generally, which again, I think it kind of depends on who you are. Like if you were a Trump fan, you probably thought that Trump did just fine. Those specifics probably didn't matter too much. But, she had been doing a lot of debate prep, like weeks of debate prep. And, Trump is kind of notoriously eschewed debate prep. And so, I think that maybe showed a bit last night. But I also thought that, I think you're right. Like, I think the bar was really low for her. This is her first debate. I forget how many Trump has done, but, he's done quite a few by now. And so I think, also because of her, previous public speaking appearances, it was the word salads, it was the laughs, it was the rambling, it was the
I was disappointed we didn't get any word salads last night.
Yes, we did not get the unburdened by what has been.
Unburdened by what has been.
I was hoping to hear about the passage of time.
Talking about the significance of the passage of time, right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time.
Yes. We did not get a passage of time quote from her this time.
It's a shame. And yeah, I agree with you. I say, previously, if you're comparing her to Biden.
We have 1,000 trillionaires in America. Billionaires in America.
Wow, she absolutely, cleaned the floor, right? Because Biden last time was he looked like he was falling asleep. He was cowering in shame or whatever. It was very bizarre, actually, the way he kind of, displayed, what he displayed during the debate.
Dealing with everything we have to do with, look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Harris did debate Pence 4 years ago.
Oh.
Yeah, she did, and I seem to remember she did okay. It wasn't great. It wasn't bad. It was okay.
This is important, Susan, and I want to add. But if Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking. I'm speaking.
Remember the debate fly on Pence's hair?
Oh yes, I think that was unfortunately the biggest headline out of that whole debate.
Some people think that was CGI. Did you see the thing about people accusing Kamala of wearing headphones?
Yeah,
Did you see that?
I saw that, yeah.
You see that, David?
I did. I actually did some research on it. And I think she was wearing Tiffany and not the headset.
H1.
Because the H1, the Nova H1s, yes.
Yeah.
It's a German company, and the ones that they make don't look like the ones she was wearing last night.
It doesn't look quite the same, does it? And it's a Kickstarter. No. I don't think it's even out yet, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I thought it was interesting. What I thought was interesting, you guys mentioned, because I actually felt that this debate going into it, Trump had the upper hand in terms of calling out policies, because that's usually what happens with the challenging candidate, right, versus the incumbent, is you have the ability to challenge the policies that's been running for the last 3.5 years. But I didn't know why, because we heard that Tulsi Gabbard was supposed to help with his debate prep, that Trump didn't end up focusing more on the sort of his quote disastrous policies of the Biden administration more. It felt like to me he tried, but it didn't really click as much as I thought it did with Biden. So I wasn't sure if this is because Kamala Harris is a different opponent, or because there was some sort of a part on Trump that he wasn't so prepared for against in this debate. So I thought that was kind of the problem for me with Trump last night. Had he done more, because we saw this at the ending statement that Trump did, he was really questioning a lot of what, things they said they were going to do, but they haven't done over the 3.5 years. I think if Trump had stuck to that for the duration of the debate, I think it would have turned out much better for him.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen him question Kamala on whether she's going to let the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act expire, because that expires at the end of 2025. And if that happens, everyone loses their current tax rate and your taxes go up. So, in my mind, that's really the most important thing about this election for me personally is can I keep my Trump tax rate? And Kamala said she wouldn't raise taxes for anyone earning under $400,000 a year. And she didn't say anything about extending that tax cut. And if she doesn't extend it, she just lets it expire, then she has raised taxes for everyone earning under $400,000 a year.
Well, I think she's in kind of a weird place, or an uncomfortable place, because she is the vice president, which means she doesn't really make decisions, but she's part of the Biden administration. And so, she's trying to differentiate herself enough from Biden without saying that, what her and Biden have done is not sufficient, or that, there needs to be a revamp, right, for her administration. And then also, Trump is kind of an incumbent in the way that he has been president, so she can't attack him on his, previous policies. But I do think that she did play a bit more offense, and I think when you look at how people judge debates, I think generally they see the person who is on defense more as losing the debate, and the person on offense as, being the winner of the debate.
Yes, that was probably why with Biden last time, Trump just tore into him and he really couldn't defend himself. That's probably why we all thought Trump won.
Yeah. Well, and I think, there was a lot of talk in this, leading up to this debate, that she was going to try to get under his skin. And I do think that she did that in a way. For example, I thought it was kind of a funny, I'm not sure, to me the jury's still out on whether this was a good move to invite people to a Trump rally, because
that was strange.
Well, she was trying to make the point that people get bored and leave, but they're also at the Trump rally to begin with. So,
some people leave early to avoid the crowd. They sense it's the last 5 minutes of his speech.
But he shouldn't have even gone into that. It's such a non-issue, because if you think about it, people are going to leave for all kinds of reasons. They have babies. They're, they have to be somewhere. They just want to, be there to see, their favorite candidate. It's just he shouldn't have even dignified that with a response.
He didn't need to respond, did he?
And that's the kind of thing where she was trying to get under his skin and make him sound like he cares more about his rally sizes than about the American people. That was her refrain. I care about you. I want to unite America. He only cares about himself, and he's gonna, put into place policies that just benefit rich people like him.
Yeah.
Can I add something? I also, now that Holly mentioned it, I really hated how the debates now, you could say since 2016, hasn't really been about the policies, even though Kamala Harris last night was saying that, you need a candidate who's going to care for you, who's going to cherish your dreams and all of these sweet words. It didn't still click to me. Neither of the candidates were really focusing on the policies. They were just, it started well, but then in the middle of it, towards the end, it started becoming personal attacks and attacks on, like you guys mentioned, the whole rally thing, or that Kamala Harris allegedly has buses of people going to hers. This really doesn't move the country forward in any way, shape, or form, which is, I think, why a lot of people like you guys said that the debate, there wasn't a clear winner. It didn't feel like any candidate was really there that night to push a clear vision for the country. They were more there to kind of protect their own sort of little space and name, which I think it's not a good thing in the long run. So I wish the debates would return to something. And so I think that's the point that I just want to stick out there.
Yeah, I was also quite disappointed to hear that Trump didn't have a healthcare policy. So at one point, Kamala asks him, like he criticized something to do with healthcare from her, and then she asked him, well, what's your healthcare policy? And then he was caught out by it. He was like, well, I'll formulate a policy.
And have something bigger and better. Well, okay, he did get rid of the mandate that you had to pay if you didn't have health care. Like, I think that was a political, that was a political win for him because it was so unpopular. I mean, that was really what made it.
But he tried to pass the American Health Care Act, and of course, famously, Senator McCain came in and cast the one vote that, knocked it down. And then later, he didn't try to pass anything anymore. He just ran Obamacare.
Well, I think it is a big political liability because, Kamala Harris brought this up knowing it was popular, and that is the pre-existing conditions, But Trump has also said he doesn't want to go back to the before times when, insurance companies could deny you based on pre-existing conditions. So,
but I would just like to have seen him have some sort of policy, not just look back at it and go, well, I'll formulate a policy.
Well, I remember he was like trying to task members of Congress, Republican members of Congress, with coming up with a plan, and that was when he had the trifecta: the White House, the Senate, and the House, and Republicans weren't able to.
The one that got shot down was maybe his best plan, and then after that he just gave up. He did a lot of stuff for the VA, healthcare for veterans and stuff, but not just regular healthcare.
Yeah, well, and it is such a thorny issue. I mean, anytime you change healthcare law, it is just really, it affects a lot of people in a very personal way. So I think you do really have to be careful with that political football.
All right, guys, I think that's a good place to end it. So what do you think? Who won the debate? Why don't you put your comments in the comment section below? There's no right or wrong answer to this. All opinions are welcome. We'd love to hear what you think. Do subscribe to The Round Table, and of course Holly's channel Newspeak and David's channel China Insider if you're new. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.